Welcome back. In today's Point of View segment, we're tackling a major economic development, the US tariffs on Malaysian exports, and how our country plans to weather the storm. Well, to help us unpack this issue, I'm now joined by Muhammad FARIS ARRIFFIN, General Manager of the National Farmers Organisation, or known as NAFAS, who also serves as Vice Chief of National AMANAH Youth. FARIS brings deep expertise from both the private sector and public service, particularly in engineering and technology, corporate management and business development, as well as investment strategy. FARIS, good to have you with us. Thanks for joining us on this program. Now, you've worked with global giants, names like Petronas and Halliburton and Schlumberger, as well as studied finance at Harvard. Now, with that solid background, how do you personally interpret the impact of the US tariffs on Malaysia's economy at this point?
Thank you, Jessie, for the invitation. Of course, first of all, let's not sugarcoat this thing. This US tariff, especially on Malaysia, 24% on our Malaysian exports are a very serious blow to us. We are a trading nation nonetheless. So especially when you consider last year, we export about nearly 200 billion ringgit to the US, and we have a surplus of about 72 billion ringgit. So that is where the bulk of the bucket would be. So that surplus didn't just benefit corporations, but from it supported real jobs across all the states in Malaysia, across Johor, Penang, Selangor, and the rest of the other states. But of course, this tariff is still, is a conundrum to us. So, but of course, this is where we should, go back to the man himself, US President Donald Trump. So, how does it come about? So, actually, I would say personally, I think this is how he, as a president, would define his second term. To realize his MAGA, his Make America Great Again, his America First populist appeals to his vote banks, okay? By, first of all, reshoring back the blue-collar works, especially in the steel and aluminium industries, the automotive industries, and also, to make America first. So, of course, with this recent, several years of development, rapid developments by China. So globally, they want to counter China economic influence in the world. So he's using this tariff as, as a leverage or negotiation tool.
Right, Faris, now back towards here in Malaysia in terms of homeland, the Prime Minister has cited strong economic fundamentals and many reforms under the Madani framework, as we've previously known as well before even the US tariffs mentioned. From your perspective in business and investment strategy, what concrete signals should international investors be looking at to stay confident of the landscape and the progress that we have right here in Malaysia at this point?
Yeah, of course, the data will not lie. So we have seen in recent years, the data from last year shows that we have a tremendous growth with our GDP, climbing back up. But now, because of this tariff, it has been revised down. So we were projecting about 4.5 to 5.5% in GDP growth in 2025, but because of this VUCA, I would say, volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous world that we currently live in because of this one nation, the IMF has revised downwards the GDP growth for Malaysia to 4.1%, and also the World Bank also has revised down our GDP growth in 2025 to 3.9%. But all is well, I would say, with the strategic priorities that has been shown, indicated by this current Madani government. So even yesterday, we had this special parliamentary sitting for all the parliamentary reps around Malaysia to discuss on our strategic response to this US tariff negotiation that we as a country need to undertake. So there is no divide across political parties, but we as a nation are united, to negotiate this tariff with the United States.
Now let's look the other side for just a moment. In terms of reducing reliance on markets or superpowers like the US, what are some of the key regions or sectors Malaysia should be expanding into so that we become more self-reliant in that aspect?
Okay. Yeah, as this is where I think we should go into, the aspect of ASEAN, our neighboring regions. So as we have the chairmanship of ASEAN in 2025, I think we should relook back into our, strategic priorities. So negotiating as a bloc and also strengthening our multilateral, I would say intra-ASEAN trade. So if you look at the data and you dissect it a little bit, so actually our first and largest trade partners are actually within our ASEAN countries. So we actually have about roughly 720 billion ringgit worth of trade with our ASEAN countries, Singapore, Thailand, Vietnam, which made up about 80% of these ASEAN trades. And the second one only will be China, and the third one will be US. So I believe this chairmanship of ASEAN is I think a very good and the right platform for us to negotiate from a position of strength with the US. So on how we should lead this regional trade consensus. So as a bloc, together we are strong and we have more leverage in terms of, maybe having a total exemption or maybe, to minimize as much as possible the, I think, exorbitant tariff that has been imposed towards these ASEAN countries.
Let's take a look at the E&E sector here in Malaysia. That's been doing well even under global pressure. What more can we do to strengthen and future-proof this critical industry that we are so strongly involved with or that we so strongly own?
Yep. Okay, so regarding our E&E industry, I think it's good that the Madani government has already preempted the move, which is to move up further in terms of the value chain of the semiconductor industries. So, for example, the 25 billion ringgit that has been announced and allocated by National Semiconductor Strategy, so that we can move up from a mere, assembly lines down the value chain in this semiconductor industry towards, more upstream, which is regarding the IP, regarding the design. So I think we are actually moving in the right direction, of course, in stages. And there are lots of things to back this up. But of course, it will start from our human capital itself. So, with the advancement of, reskilling, upskilling of our human capitals, with the emphasis on STEM among our youngsters, among our graduates, So this will be, I think, on how we should move strategically in terms of advancing up further the value chain of this semiconductor industry.
Mm-hmm. Faris, how do you think Malaysia should balance its ties with both the US and China amid all that's going on in terms of the rising global trade tensions?
Yeah, okay. That's the very essence of the question, right? So people always, quote this elephant, fight elephants, grass will suffer, right? But we might not be necessarily the grass here, right? So I would like to speak directly to the working Malaysians here. I think this is not just a mere geopolitical issue. This is about everyday people. So when this tariff being imposed to us, factories might reduce shift. Factories might freeze hiring because exports slow down. So it's not just numbers to us. So it's someone's rents, someone's school fees, someone's family dinner, someone's hope for, career advancement. So if companies pass this higher cost to consumers, then even basic goods for Malaysia will become harder to afford, especially for the lower income families. So for us to choose side between US or China, I think that will not be necessary for us. So we are a trading nation nonetheless, all right? We are friends with all, but allies with none. And of course, we should treat this, strategic response to this negotiation with US tariff from the position of strength, from our core principles, which is, to not side with to not pick any side. We should be friends with all. We should be having the freedom to trade with China. We should be, having the freedom to collaborate with US. We should be having, having the sovereignty of our nation to trade with, any countries that we think that is beneficial to our rakyat.
Well, thank you, Faris, for weighing in freedom and friendship. Those are two main takeaways from our discussion as well. We'll speak to you soon. That was Muhammad Faris ARRIFFIN, General Manager of NAFAS, the National Farmers Organization, as well as Vice Chief of National AMANAH Youth.